Our next storyteller is a rock climber, and she learns that gifts come in many forms, but only in hindsight. Please welcome Pamela Dudzik with her story, The Great White Book.
Thank you. Richard and I have rock climbed together for about 10 years now. So when we are a really good team. We trust each other, we know each other's abilities, we can tolerate each other on the really long climbing days, and we push each other to do more. So when he suggested doing a climb, Great White Book, that he had done a number of times before, I agreed. So there are sane rock climbers and insane rock climbers. Sanity is very relative. Insane rock climbers don't use anything, but us sane ones, we use ropes. So one person is tied to one end of the rope, the other person is tied to the other. You use gear to help protect you, so if you fall, your partner is there to catch you, or to make sure you don't hit the ground and fall to your death. On this particular day, we got to the section of the climb that I was to do. I looked up at it, and it was just so unbelievably gorgeous. I knew it was 150 feet, beautiful white rock, just amazing. And I was petrified because right in front of me were these boulders looking like huge teeth waiting to chew me up if I fell. Since I was kind of nervous, a bit nervous, I asked Richard to help me out. Normally, I don't take any advice. I'm pretty stubborn about it. But I let him talk to me about how to start the climb. I let him choose a few pieces of gear that I should bring up. Now, when you're climbing, the way I do it, a lot of people do it these days, you're putting things into the rock that are going to be taken out. And the intent is not to abuse, hurt the rock in any way. So it has to be not too small, not too big. So him giving me those was great. And again, ideas about how to start the climb was wonderful. So I had this, I took a deep breath, I looked up, and I was like, great, I'm gonna do this. So the beginning of the climb was this beautiful wide area, and it's kind of like crawling up a hill, like a sloping hill. Really easy, relatively easy, pretty wide, and what he had said and what really worked was shove your butt against the side, shove your shoulder against the side, and use your other hand and your arm against there and just kind of go up. Sounds awkward, kind of is, but really, really comfortable. I knew that I wouldn't have any protection. I couldn't put in a piece of metal, these wonderful pieces of metal, for about 40 feet. Now, for us sane rock climbers, we like to have in gear maybe every 7 to 10 feet. Because then if you fall, you're only falling 14 to 20 feet. Going up this climb, it felt really, the beginning of this climb was really comfortable. So the 40 feet, I didn't care, it was fine. Arching. And then it started where you had to start thinking more. And where pretty much I knew I needed to get a piece of gear in. I did a move. It moved to vertical, so it's a little bit more technical, but I was still sort of shoving myself around. I'd go look into the crack, see if I could see something. Nope, I didn't have anything to put in there. Did another move. Damn it, no. Finally, after a couple more moves, I saw a spot. I could fit the biggest piece of gear I had, literally this big, that Richard had bought specifically for that day, a $100 piece of gear, and probably specifically for this pitch. I put it in, it's a cam, so it kind of gets itself in there. Put it in, put my rope through, and I took a deep breath, and it was wonderful, because if I fell, he could catch me. I wouldn't be falling into those teeth. But that I had to keep moving. So I kept moving, and it was fine. It was nice. I kept moving, and I looked periodically in the last 10 feet where I could see maybe I could get something in, but there wasn't any spots. So it was comfortable again. I had more space. I could again shove my body in, and I just kept going, and it felt really comfortable. And then I got to a spot where I would have to do a difficult move, where there was a chance of me falling. And I stopped, and I looked down for a second, and I was like 30 feet above that piece. So if I fell, I was going to fall 60 feet if I didn't have anything there. And I could see those teeth down there waiting to chew me up. And let me just tell you, there are 3 human possible reactions to terror: fight, flight, or freeze. I couldn't fight the rock. It was pretty damn hard. And also to fight it, I'd have to take one of my hands away. I couldn't fly. I didn't have wings. I wasn't going to call a helicopter. So I froze. I was really comfortable because, again, it was wide enough. I could shove my butt in. I was, had perched and shoved, and I wasn't going anywhere. I was like, yeah, I can be here all day. So I sat there for literally 30 minutes, probably 45, maybe even an hour. I looked down, looking at the teeth. I thought, oh, well, maybe I can scoot back down, but no, that's actually kind of difficult to do. I looked above me, and I'm in the spot, and I see there's nothing. I mean, I'm not going to have anything. So, yeah. So, okay, I'll just stay here. And I would periodically sort of call down to Richard, I'm really scared. I don't want to move. I can't do this. And he'd be patient and encouraging, which was very, very nice, because he can be kind of snarky occasionally. But eventually, I knew I had to make a move, because there were only 2 options. I'd either purposely let go, and then I'd definitely fall and smash myself on the rocks, or I could try and maybe fall, or maybe succeed. So I was like, okay, everything's going to be okay. I'm going to try. So I moved my hand up and moved my foot a couple inches. I was like, shit, no. I went back down to my nice spot. I'm like, okay, I can be here longer. I was like, no, you got to do it. I went up, moved my finger a little, moved my foot a little. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, no, I can't do it. I went back, I was there again. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I have to do something. I have to. So I took the deep breath. I thought about what was in front of me, didn't think about what was below, tried not to think about what was above or what wasn't above, where I couldn't put any more protection, and finally made that move, and I didn't fall. And I made another move, and I didn't fall. And I did that for another 50 feet. So now I'm approximately 80 feet above my piece-ish. This is, I'm getting close to the end of the 150 feet, but I'm not there yet. Finally, I got to a point where you kind of move out onto what seems like a beautiful, nice staircase, like the golden staircase. No handrails, but still. I was like, oh my God, this is great. And I went up that staircase. I didn't rejoice yet because I wasn't safe. And I got to the point where I got myself safe. And it felt great. I was a little traumatized, but I felt great. Now, driving home that night, I was looking at the photos Richard took of me. And just looking at them, I was like, my hands started sweating. I'm like, oh my God, I was so high above that piece. Oh my God, I could have died. And then it hit me. Richard had done the climb before. so why did he give me all those pieces? And I looked at him, and he looked back at me with a little smile, and he said, if I had told you you would only have one piece, would you have done the climb? Now, a lot of climbers would have been so angry at him. In fact, a friend of his, when he heard the story, Richard loves to tell stories, said, if you ever do that to me, I will punch you really hard in your face. But for me, I wasn't angry. I had played these mental games with myself before on climbs. It was my choice to do the climb. And I like to think that if Richard knew me well enough to know that if he suggested the climb, then I could do it. So I just want to say thank you, Richard, for getting me on the climb, for making me realize that you really need to trust and verify, and for buying that $100 piece that kept me safe. And I'll just say this, I really am so glad I did that climb, but I will never, ever, ever do it again.